All right. Well, welcome everybody. It is Wednesday, and gosh, I say this a lot, but I just think the time is flying. We're already at the 21st of June, and Connie, I know you just got back from California seeing your youngest graduate college, and he's got all these incredible opportunities with baseball. And gosh, what an exciting time. And I know that a lot of people as we get into June either have graduates, school's out, and seems like June is a pretty darn busy month for the majority of people. So for those of you that are just joining in, I'm super excited to introduce you to Ms. Connie Ficus. Connie is a top industry leader, and I am so thrilled to have her here because she's got some really fresh tips that she's going to give us, and actually had some incredible results just last week. And I got my hands on her and I said, Connie, I really would love if you would come share your expertise for all of the folks out there that joined the Leader Lowdown, because Connie is one of those people where it's easy to understand. She is a consistent gal that is showing up, and her tips are just easy to take action with. So Connie, I'm thrilled to have you here. Before we really get going, I'm just seeing people already checking in. So great job checking in. I would love to know where you're here from. And if you are listening to the replay, hashtag replay. And I always do my best to reach out to all comments. And I'm really excited to be here. So Connie, let me just give you a moment. My name's Joan Robison. For those of you that are new to the Leader Lowdown, I love this show because we get top industry leaders on sharing their very best tips of how they've had success. And one of the things Connie's also going to be talking about today is some of the fears that she experienced. And it wasn't in so far, as the distant future. Wasn't that long ago. So, Connie, before we dig into the training, tell us a little bit about your story and just kind of how you got into network marketing.
Well, I'd love to start. Thank you, first of all, for having me on. And for those of you that don't know, Joan and I go way back. In fact, I've known her since she was a little girl, and our parents actually went to high school together. But, we kind of lost track of each other for probably about 20 years or something like that. And I was invited to a home party by my mother. And my mother had been in the party plan business for 38 years. So this industry was not new to me. However, I was the first person in my entire family to go to college. So I was like, nope, not doing that. I'm going to actually go get a real job and have a real career. And fast forward, 3 little kids moved back to the Seattle area, and my mom invited me to this party. And of course, it went in one ear and out the other because I wasn't going to go.
Right.
And
I have to say one thing about your mom, because like Connie said, we go way back. Our parents have known each other, but your mom's kind of an icon in the industry. I mean, she really was going for many, many years. So Sandra, you're watching.
I used to go with her to her parties and haul all of her stuff in and out with her.
Oh, well, I can see it. And I do have to say, Sandra, if you're watching, look at this daughter of yours just take the world by storm. All right, Connie, keep going. I just had to give Sandra a little plug.
Thanks. Raj is listening.
Yeah.
So I was invited to this party. She reminded me multiple times, and I just kind of let it go in one ear and out the other. And the day of the party, she contacted me and said, "Now you're coming tonight, right?" And I was like, "To what?" Because I wasn't really paying much attention.
Already out the door. Yeah.
And she's like, "You have to come." And I was like, "Oh, all right, fine." So I took my daughter with me, and I left my husband with the 2 boys. And I went to this party, and it was so fun. And we were having such a great time doing foot soaks and facials. And I turned to my aunt and I said, "Oh my gosh, this is so fun. I think I need to do this." I think I need
Right.
to do this business because it was something that I could do and be home with 3 kids and not have to have a corporate job that controlled my life. And it was just so fun. And I actually went up to the gal after the party who I was distantly related to. And I said, okay, I want information about this business, but do not tell my mother that I'm asking because she was still with her company. And I knew if she thought I was interested, she was going to start in on me to try to recruit me. And I wasn't interested in doing what she was doing, but this business and this product caught my attention. So
Yeah, yeah, I love that. Well, Connie, tell us then, you were with that company for 10 years and you and I had the opportunity to work together again.
and reconnect.
Quickly rose to the top based on your sales and recruiting, and you were on all the trips. You always attended all the company events. Yeah, you and I reconnected and got to know each other again in our adult years, and have continued to stay connected for 20 plus years now. And let's fast forward. You were with another company that ended up closing its doors, and you represented a product line that was also, clean living, chemical free. And so I know that I had reached out to you, and we don't, these are generic calls and whatnot, but you and I talked again, and you were kind of not really keen on getting back into it. And I get that, because often when companies close doors or we've gone through a lot,
PTSD.
yeah, PTSD, we're kind of just tired. We want to break. We don't want to really hear anybody. By the way, if anybody out there has ever felt that way, drop a heart in the comments, because I know that this happens. We've been there. But Connie, fast forward and tell us a little bit about kind of that conversation and where you went.
Yeah. So, then I was with another company for 11 years, and Joan had reached out to me and checked in on me, and, which we did periodically. What's going on? How's it going? And I had no interest in doing it again because I knew what it was going to take to start up again, because I had built 2 pretty strong businesses and was thinking, I don't have it in me to do it again.
Right.
And she shared information about an opportunity that I still said no. I said no more than
Right.
once.
I was going to say, let's not like pussyfoot around this. You were like,
I said no many times.
no, I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it.
Leave me alone. I was like ready to avoid her phone calls. And what drew me, that's true. What drew me in was the difference, and the fact that I didn't have to, I could be successful whether I only sold product or only built a team or did whatever combination of the both. And so I liked that. I liked the flexibility that I had control over how I wanted to build this business. But I also still knew that when you start with a new company, even if you have a big customer base, you're starting over, because not everybody's going to want what you're talking about now. And so,
and I want to make a comment around that. So for those of you that are out there, you're either considering making a move or maybe you've made a move. Hey, we get it. I've done this. This is my 4th company. And then of course I have my own coaching business and whatnot. And what I wanted to share is it's not easy to restart once you've built something up. But oftentimes, if you're someone like Connie or me, you've got to look at the big picture. You've got to look at where you are wanting to go and what your goals are, for future. So, Connie, you ended up saying yes to this second or third opportunity, or is that, third opportunity in 20 years. And that was about a year ago. And you came over here, and I know that you were ready to kind of pull your sleeves up, but still there was a little bit of fear, because the way of working online and what was possible at your other company was a little different. So you had to learn a little bit about kind of a new way of doing business online, right?
Yeah, because I'm used to the party plan where you go into someone's home and you get that personal connection and you build those relationships.
Sure.
And when you're running a business online, you have to build your relationships in a different way, right? Like you have to be present in your life on social media so that people get to know you, get to know your family, what your hobbies are, your dog, whatever it is. Like your relationship is built in a different way.
Yeah, yeah. Well, and one of the things I think that people don't always stop and consider is that, they think, okay, I'm going to sell online. I don't have to leave my house, or I can work all from my phone, which is all true.
Love that.
But there is this factor of people buy from people. And you guys, I've said this over and over, and it's probably in every sales book, that they know, like, and trust. So people really have to know you, which means they've got to see you showing up online. Now, I don't want to jump right to that, Connie, because I know this is one of the things you're going to really take a deeper dive into. But let's talk first, though, about kind of the fear of over inundating people. Because I think a lot of people think, like, if I post every day, people are going to get sick of me. And I think
I thought that for sure.
right? So
Oh,
tell
yeah.
us about that fear, and really kind of, because you're kind of a strong gal, and you might have had a little pushback. Oh, I don't know, but I think maybe you might have had a little bit of, like, I don't know if I'm going to be doing it the same way. But talk to us a little bit around that fear of posting, because there's people out that are thinking the same thing you had,
Yeah.
or that you thought.
Yeah, because the fear is that you're going to that people are going to get sick of you, or they're going to unfriend you, or they're going to be annoyed by you. And I kept thinking, I can't be out there that much. Like I can't possibly be posting all the time. That would be just too annoying. And it was kind of about the same time that I learned about stories, because
Right.
I had always seen those little circles up at the top, but I didn't know what that was.
Yeah.
And every once in a while I'd click on somebody that I knew, but I didn't know what that meant. And so I kind of started dipping my toe into, okay, I'm going to post a little bit more. And then I thought, well, if I use those stories, they're not going to see me as much unless they click on that circle. So it felt like a little safer zone of sharing, because it felt like, well, they have to actually intentionally click on me to see it.
Well, and that's another thing I think, again, I don't think people really realize that there's a certain audience that let's just talk Facebook for right now, but there's a certain audience that Facebook will put you in front of with a post. But then the stories has another audience. And then if you're doing lives and reels, I mean, and if you have a group, literally you could be in front of 5 different audiences with one piece of content. And I love to talk about repurposing, because I remember in the beginning, I was putting up like 5 pieces of content, thinking that I didn't want everybody to get sick of the same thing if they saw it twice.
Yeah.
And that's certainly a waste of time. But so you start dipping your toes in with stories, and then what started happening?
Well, what was interesting is people started reaching out to me, wanting to know more about my new business and my new products that had never purchased from my other 2 companies. So it wasn't like I was walking into a new business with a whole bunch of customers, which, I kind of had, but really that door was closed, and now you're starting over when you're starting with a new one. And so what was interesting to me is people that had never shown interest in my products or my business were now going, okay, tell me more about that. That whole attraction marketing.
Right. And so as they really began, kind of coming out of the woodwork, would you say that really began to build your confidence? Like, okay,
oh, yeah,
they're
absolutely,
not.
because you feel like, okay, I'm not being annoying. They actually want to hear what I have to say.
Right.
So
Yeah, they want to hear it. And so some of the different things that you did, like, did you start to realize, oh, I might have, I don't even know how many friends you have, but let's say you have 4,000 friends. Did you go like, oh, well, I looked at the insights and that was only in front of 400, or is that what kind of made you realize not everybody's seeing everything?
Well, what happened was I happened to mention something to someone about my business closing and starting a new business. And
Yeah.
people started saying, "What? You started a new business? What are you talking about? I haven't seen anything." And I thought, how could they not have seen me? Like, I
Yeah.
have been on there all the time and been so annoying. And what I realized was they're not all seeing it. And then I went, okay, this is okay.
Right.
Because it's not annoying, 2,500 people, which it was my fear. So
Right. Yeah, you think, well, everybody's gonna see it, and I don't wanna go to 2,500 people and just,
annoy people. And so, here I am now 14 months later, and I still have people saying, I had no idea you started a new business. And
right.
I'm thinking, how could they not possibly know?
How
So
could they not know? And you know what? I have to say, I remember, of course, we grew up in a kind of small town living. I remember being in like our 10th or 11th year doing those home parties. Wow, I did a lot. And I know you did too. And I liked them. I did like them. They were a lot of fun. But I'll say this, I remember um, having done hundreds of them, going to one party with like 10 women that I'd never met out in Seebeck area, which, that's a little ways out from where we live, but nobody had heard of our product. And that is how big the world is. I mean,
I know you think, how could they not have heard about it? Like, we've been
right,
doing this for 10 years, right?
right. It's big, guys, but it's also small,
Mhm.
like meaning your reach is it's so broad. Now, let's focus a little bit more online, because I think that now many people are realizing that, the reach they can get when they use multiple um, ways of reaching people, even within one or two different social media platforms. Like
Mhm.
I said, you could do a post, you could do a story, you could do a reel, you could do a live, you could be in a group. I mean, that
So then,
right.
then you have to like look at how can I do this the most efficiently?
Yes.
Because when I looked at, I mean, Facebook, I mastered pretty easily because like my kids say, Mom, only your friends are on Facebook because, the younger generation has moved on to other things.
Right.
Um, but I started getting a little bit more into Instagram, which I didn't know very much about. So then I figured out how to link those two together so that when I did one post, it went on both. So I'm cutting my time in half, right? Like I'm
Right.
double dipping at the same time. And then I kind of started dipping my toe into TikTok, which was just not really my thing. So I really have a profile there, but I don't really actively do much over there. And
Right.
what I decided to do, I kept hearing people say, just focus on the one thing, focus on
Yeah.
the one thing. So I thought, okay, I'm only going to focus on Facebook and Instagram because
Right.
if my demographic is mostly on Facebook anyway, that's the demographic that's going to be attracted to me and what I'm doing. So my daughter and her friends are off doing some other social media. And if my daughter wanted to do this business, she
Yeah.
could create a whole nother business in her platform with her
Right.
people that are going to relate to her.
Right. Well, and that's going to kind of bring us to really the next area that I want to talk about, because, I believe everybody has a circle of influence. It doesn't matter who you are, everyone has a circle of influence, and everybody has a story, and everybody has an audience that, if you choose to be consistent, they will start perking up to you. So let's talk about like kind of the second point. Let's talk a little bit around content and relevant content. What is some of the tips that you want to share around content and, just how to create content? Because I think I found through my coaching, and by the way, guys, if anybody wants to book a strategy or a growth session with me, my Calendly link is running right across the screen. So feel free to go ahead and book a complimentary call with me. But Connie, when I'm coaching people, oftentimes people will stay frozen because they're trying to post the right thing, or they feel insecurities around their story. Talk to us a little bit about that.
Well, I think you see someone like, I might see someone who's 20 years younger than me doing some, post or reel, and they're dancing and they're fun and they've got music and this and that. And I'm thinking, that's just not me. And I
Right.
kept thinking I needed to be like these other people.
Right.
And, I've listened to a lot of different trainings, and what I finally started to grasp was that whole piece about being your authentic self, because you're going to attract people who are like you. So it
Hmm.
doesn't matter. I don't have to be like someone else, and I don't have to try to act like I'm 25 or 30. And if I did, it would be ridiculous. So, when you're your authentic self and you're just true to who you are. Like, I mean, I put a little bit of makeup on to come on here for you and this, but
Right.
most of the time I'm posting and I have nothing. My hair's in a ponytail. I have no makeup on. I've
It's real
usually
life,
hair
right?
down to my teeth. And it's better that people see something that they can relate to than someone that they can't relate to, because that's not, they're going to keep scrolling on by. So being who you are is really important.
Yeah, I agree with that. So give us some examples of how you've shared your story, or some examples that you feel, are, how would I say this? Some examples that make following up with people super simple, like where you're not feeling this, like I'm bugging them.
Well, I think one of the things, I think anybody in our business looks back and says, "Oh my gosh, in the beginning, the stuff I posted," and we all cringe, right?
Yeah,
Like, because I mean, mine's only been 14 months, and I still look back and go, "Oh my God, that was so bad."
right.
Um,
But
but
you did it anyway. You kept going.
well, because the more you do it, the better you're going to get, right? The more you learn, and the better you're going to get. So, everybody's in a learning curve. I don't care where you're starting, you're going
Right.
to get better. And you have to just, it's kind of, I equate it to being at the swimming pool and you're standing on the diving board and you're afraid to jump in. And then you finally just have to jump. And then you go, okay, that wasn't so bad. And then
Right.
you kind of keep jumping. So,
Mhm.
I think, oh, I totally forgot where my head was going with this. That's
You
another
were
thing.
saying you equate it like where you were just at the swimming pool and you feel like, hey, you just got to jump sometimes. Like,
Well, and so, I know, I was gonna say, was in the beginning, I would post things like flyer ads with pricing and websites and links. And now I'm like, I don't do any of that. I
yeah,
will talk about results. I'll talk about stories. I'll share um, successes. I'll share failures. I'll share, whatever. I'll say, oh my gosh, I finally found something that does X, Y, and Z for me, or tell my story. And then people are reaching out to me and going, okay, what are you doing?
right.
I need to know what that is. I have that problem. And so you're sharing results with yourself or failures without selling a product.
Well, what I think we kind of call that in the business, right, is we sell the sizzle, not the steak,
Mm,
right? We're selling, if you will, we're sharing our own success or our own benefits, that this is what it's done for me. And so it makes people curious.
right.
Well, what is it? And I want to know more about that. And, I want to ask some questions where, I can remember too. I did the same thing. I remember even, I cringe to even say this out loud, but I remember even posting my business kit with the price and
Oh,
all that
everything.
kind of stuff at my
Join
past.
my team, all of it.
Oh boy. And what now? I just did this. I want to share this with you because yesterday, my algorithm has been really messed up. So I haven't been in front of a lot of people for some different Facebook jail. No, I've been in jail for messaging people that weren't in my friends list. But nonetheless, um, I did a little test just to be sure. And I put the link in my post. And wouldn't you know, I got seen by no one. I mean, relatively no one. So, Facebook platform is a social platform. And when they feel like you're not being social, when you're directing someone to a link to join a group, or, to buy or whatever
Or
it
to
could
sell.
be,
Yeah. Yeah.
that's the way they just kind of shut you down a little bit, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm with you. Now if we did it, if somebody consistently does that, they're not even barely in
It's
front of
not
you.
successful.
Right.
And so I also felt like for the product that I'm representing and the products that I want to talk about is I need to use them because
Yeah.
I have to have my own story.
Yep.
Right? Like I can't just talk about, I can't talk about weight loss and health products and not have my own results because it's not authentic.
Right.
So it's been a win-win because then it helps me feel better and get healthier while I'm helping other people.
And it's almost like you're kind of getting paid to be healthy.
Yeah.
I mean, if you kind of think about it like that, because I'm sure the more results you have with whatever you're doing, the more people attract. I mean, they want to know more, and it gives you the confidence because it's like real life results, right?
Well, and so many of my friends were all kind of inching up to 60, like we're on the fast track, months away kind of thing. And I have friends that say to me all the time, "Oh my gosh, your skin looks amazing. I can't believe you're 60." And I'm like, well, I'm not there yet, but I'm getting there. But like if they don't, they're like, I want what she's having because they want to, avoid Botox or whatever they're, wanting to do. And
I don't avoid any of that stuff, just so you know. But I do know what you're saying. Yeah, a lot of people want just the natural, different things that are really going to make a difference.
Mm-hmm.
So, hey, I've got another question around content. So, how often do you talk about your product results versus just lifestyle stuff? How do you decide?
So I always think it's important to be funny.
Yeah.
Because humor is important. I talk a lot about my family, whether they like it or not. And products, I'd probably say maybe 4 or 5 times a week.
Okay.
I'm talking about products, but I'm not like talking about products. I'm talking about results. Yeah.
Results. Well,
so that's pretty significant. Some business opportunity, family, funnies. You got to mix it up. It can't all be the same.
Right. I like that. Let's move on to your third point. You wanted to share a little bit when I asked you. I said, okay, what if we were going to, kind of boil this down? Like you've really kind of cracked the code to online sales. And I just have to say that, you were involved in a flash sale, right? Your company had a flash sale and you sold, what was it? 40.
Well, I should say, first of all, my college son has been playing baseball for 4 years, but starts in February. It's every single weekend. So I'm gone 3 days a week for 16 weeks in a row. So I'm not home. Wow. I'm gone a lot. And the beauty of this business was I could do it all from my cell phone. And this particular flash sale was starting on Thursday. Okay. And I was flying out Friday for graduation, and I knew I was going to be super busy Friday and Saturday. And I thought, oh God, nothing like a flash sale when you're in the middle of being so busy.
Right.
And so I pushed hard the week prior to the flash sale because you don't want to just show up the day of the sale. That is like the worst thing ever. Right. You have to be present before that. You can't just show up on the day there's a sale.
Yeah. And let's just make sure. I want everyone to make sure. So guys, if you're out there listening, which I can see you are, what I want to make sure people understand is when she says you can't just show up the day of the sale. In other words, you can't just not post or not be in front of people and then lower the boom on the sale. Right, Connie?
Yeah. And you also don't want to go, hey, 10% off site wide, which was our sale. Right. And people are like, 10% off what? I mean, they don't even know what you're talking about because you haven't been talking about products. You haven't been talking about results. You haven't been talking about anything. And all of a sudden you flash on their screen with a sale. They don't know what that means. And if they're not super connected to you, they're just going to scroll on by. So you have to be present and consistent. Consistent is the most important piece all the way up and past it, yesterday and today I'm on a little bit of a reprieve because I feel like I kind of hit them hard Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So Monday I got back to being funny because I wanted to give them a break from me. Yeah. But anyway, I pushed hard on Thursday, and in the first day of the flash sale, I did $4,444 in sales. I thought it was kind of funny. It was 4444, and so I told my husband what I did, and his response was, why isn't it 5555?
Oh, Mike.
So
obviously I know.
Never enough. Anyway, by the end of the weekend, I had done over $8,000 in sales. And I have to tell you, Friday and Saturday and Sunday, I was super busy with graduation. I mean, I can't tell you, we had activities and events nonstop. And yet I was still able to service my customers and take care of questions, and added a whole bunch of new customers who had a whole bunch of questions during those 3 days.
And you did this all from your phone.
Mhm.
And what did you end up, what was your final sales for the
You know,
flash?
it was over 8,000. I had it at one point on my phone, and I
Wow.
know that my commission on that was like $2,898 and like 36 cents or something. Like
Unreal.
I made almost $3,000 in like a 4-day window.
I mean, that is like double what an average seller would do probably in a month.
Yeah, it was
You
good.
know, somebody that wants to make an extra $1,000 does half that in a month.
Yeah, so we took our family out to a really nice Chinese dinner on Saturday night, and my husband, the kids were, thanking my husband, and he said, "Thank your mom. She worked hard this weekend." And, continually said, "Your mom paid for this weekend." We could enjoy the weekend, and we could entertain our kids, and we could have fun without money being the issue, which was really fun.
I love that. And one of the things you said, and I know for me, like one of the reasons why I started my network marketing business was that same freedom. I know my son, and at the time he was 6, and I didn't ever want to miss a soccer game. It was like he was starting to get into these extra, activities, and I was tired, and there were all these different reasons why, just like you, not wanting to miss your kids' events. And now here's your last son, all these amazing college ball games that you and Mike.
So fun.
Yeah. And you
So fun. You do not want to miss these.
right? You have the freedom. So I love that. Guys, in fact, one of the things that is so huge about a business like this is sharing these kinds of benefits with others. And I'm going to drop in the comments my 20 hottest recruiting tips. There's 10 do's and don'ts. Grab this up, because this will really help you attract more people to you. Connie, I know that you continue to grow and work through fears and look to other people. If you were going to give some of the folks some tips out there about how to be confident and consistent online, what would you say? What would you tell them to do today?
What I started doing was following people that were successful. So I looked at the top salespeople and the top recruiting people in our company, and I searched for their names, and I started following them. Now, some of them, their style is completely not my style.
Right.
And so, I would maybe go, "Oh yeah, she's great, but that's not me."
Right.
And so I followed different people. Some of them were younger, some of them were older, some of them were men, some of them were women. And by following different people, it gave me different ideas on how to do it. And I would just copy. I mean, seriously, literally, some of it, I went back to their page, literally took the words that they typed, and I copied it, and then I just tweaked it to my language a little bit.
Yeah. Well, what's funny? I was at a seminar years ago, and I'll never forget the guy's name. His name was Ira. And he said, successful people have similarities. And we've heard things like success has clues and blah, blah, blah. He said, but I do a little thing called R&D, research and development. And basically it was like, I'll go out there, I look at them, and I copy what they're doing.
Yeah.
And who's to say, like Connie says, everybody's got their own style and their own way of doing things, but you can pick up little things that you see work, and then you can tweak it and make it your own, right?
Exactly. Because, and what I love about the company that I'm with is people are more than willing to share. They're more than willing to help. They don't care if you've copied them. And I have people ask me all the time, "Can I use your post?" I'm like, "Don't ask. If it's there, use it."
Yeah.
I mean, obviously take it and tweak it to your words. You're not going to talk about your son if you don't have a son.
Right.
Like, I mean, be authentic to you, but just copy. Right. You can do that.
Well, and that right there is Connie, part of what I love about you is, you are a giver by nature. You love your customers. You've loved your team members. I know you and Risa Garrett work super close. You're not on the same team, and you guys have a weekly meetup. And, this is what's so fun, I think, about a business like this is that when you have that abundant attitude, that abundant mentality, like I've always been someone like you that I'm just take whatever you want here. I'm ready to give it, because there are times where I might want or need something as well, and it always comes back,
Well, and I know Brianna Franks has been on your call
Yes,
before,
love her.
and I coincidentally sat next to her on my flight coming home from our national conference.
Wow.
And we just started talking briefly because, of course, we're both exhausted.
Right.
And realized we had been at the same event, realized we live about, 45 minutes away from each other.
Yeah.
And exchanged information. But really, I didn't want to bug her on the flight. I mean, I could tell she was fried. I was tired. It was a long flight. But we got connection. We friended each other. We shared cell phone numbers. We message each other now. I just finally, since baseball's finally over, I shot her a text yesterday and said, I really want to come see you. Let's have lunch. And I want to buy some eggs from you because she shares that her chickens are laying too many eggs. And we're going to get together. And she's way higher in this company than I am. And she's like, oh my gosh, I can't wait. Let's get together. And I love that because that you learn from these people, take an opportunity to get together and learn from somebody else who's doing the same thing.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, Connie, I am so thrilled that you took your time to be here. And I also have to say, just a quick recap, everybody. So keep in mind that most people have fears when it comes to embarking on anything new. But I love, Connie, that you're vulnerable enough to share that after 20 plus years, there was a little bit of a new way of doing things. And you're like, feels a little bit awkward, but you push through it. Content is key. You guys, we all have huge stories to share. They don't have to be stories that make people fall down and cry like a baby. I mean, results of your products, results of the benefits of your business. And right now, more than ever, people are looking for different ways to make money and to do it, like Connie said, in a short amount of time from your phone online. And then the last thing that you really talked about was consistency is key. I mean, you got to show up. And I think that's true with anything. I mean, if I knew that Nordstrom, which ironically, I live by a Nordstrom again, but if I knew that Nordstrom was only opened on, Mondays and Wednesdays for business, I might not be somebody that regularly visited there, where I know their hours pretty much. And so if I need something, I just automatically go there because they're in front of me all the time. And that's kind of, I love Kelly France always explains that you want to show up online almost like a reality TV show. You want to think about people want to know you. They really do. And when you can show your family, show the benefits to your business, the results and how those things have benefited you, you're going to start attracting those folks. So,
and if you don't know how to do something, hire someone to help you. If you don't know what you're doing, we didn't even talk about that, but a couple months into this business, Joan suggested that I get a VA. And I said, what's a VA?
Remember we were in a car to Salt Lake City to another event.
I didn't know what a VA was. And so I invested a little bit of money. This business that I'm in now doesn't have a lot of expenses. In fact, I don't have any expenses. So I look at my VA as my tax write-off.
Right.
Because she's like my right-hand gal. And she helps me navigate the stuff that I don't know how to do it. And she just does it. I don't have to sit there and figure it out because I just throw it at her and I say, hey, I want it to look something like this. Can you put something together? So if you don't know what you're doing, get some help.
Get a VA, and it's very affordable, and I certainly can answer any questions, so can Connie, about that. All right, Connie, before we wrap up today, I want to thank you, and I also want to congratulate you on your continued success.
Thank you.
I know you were also just at a huge event in Park City, and the trips just keep rolling. I think I'm heading on a cruise with you in November. I'm
almost there.
I'm in, man.
Oh, yeah.
So it's exciting. All right. I'm going to draw a card, guys. A lot of times we do this at the beginning, but here's the Ignite Your Light card. And Connie, I want you to think on the cards just for a minute. We're going to send this crew out with a really good moment here. We're going to ignite everybody's light. All right. Oh, look it. You're going to die.
It's about consistency.
Say yes to the thing that scares
Oh,
you. Isn't
that's
that a good one? So it says, am I letting fear keep me from the life I want to create? By living in fear, I'm living in the dark and my world becomes small. Fear can hold me back from the very things that I want to create in my life. By leaning into the fear and walking through it afraid, I will gain courage, confidence, and strength. Flip the switch and come on into the light. Just for today, say yes to the thing that scares you. You are not buried. You are actually planted, and it's time to bloom. So, Connie, give us the last words on that.
Well, the card couldn't be more perfect because when you do something that's scary, you realize it's not so bad. And you just go, wow, I did it. And that's going to give you that confidence to do it again. So keep going. Just keep doing it.
Keep doing it. All right, Connie, thank you so much. We're so thrilled you were here. And everybody, this coming Monday, we've got an incredible Monday morning motivation and following up with our last leader lowdown for the month of June. I'm going to be regrouping and doing some rebranding things for the month of July and hopefully back to you in August. So Connie, thank you so much. We'll see everybody soon.
Thank you.